Welcome to Spectrum Sphere, the channel where we dive into a diverse world of discovery. Today we'll journey through the sturdy walls and towering spires of medieval castles, uncovering their history and secrets. If you're fascinated by these grand fortresses, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more engaging content. As we turn our gaze to the relics of feudal times, we marvel at the grandeur of medieval castles, fortresses in European history. These stone sentinels have stood the test of time, bearing witness to centuries of conflict, power, and ingenuity, a testament to the legacy of a bygone era. Stepping back into the early Middle Ages, a time of turmoil and change, castles first emerged in the 9th and 10th centuries. Initially built as private fortresses for nobility, they served as symbols of power and as strategic defense mechanisms in the fragmented landscapes of feudal Europe. Castles were more than just military strongholds. They were centers of administration, symbols of status, and seats of power for lords and monarchs. Their imposing walls were deterrents against invaders, embodying the feudal system where protection and loyalty were exchanged between the nobility and the land-owning classes. The early medieval castle design was predominantly the motte-and-bailey. It featured a wooden or stone keep situated on a raised earthwork called a motte, accompanied by an enclosed courtyard or bailey. This simple yet effective design was a staple of Norman military architecture, spread widely after their conquests. As the 10th and 11th centuries unfolded, castle architecture began to evolve rapidly. From the rudimentary wooden fortifications of earlier designs, builders started incorporating stone to reinforce their structures. Higher walls, more complex layouts, and the introduction of stone keep signaled European castles' transformation into the formidable fortresses we imagine today. The Normans were pivotal in the spread of castle construction across Europe. Renowned for their military might, they introduced the concept of robust stone keeps and circular towers, fortifying their dominance with each formidable structure. Their architectural innovations greatly influenced the design of castles throughout the continent during the Middle Ages. As we advance beyond the motte-and-bailey, we encounter the stone keep castles, a formidable upgrade in medieval architecture. With their towering, thick walls crafted from stone, these keeps were far more resilient against siege weaponry. They stood as a symbol of unyielding strength, deterring adversaries with their imposing presence. Moving on, let's explore the layout and features of a typical medieval stone castle. Central to its design was the strong stone keep, a towering structure often surrounded by thick curtain walls and fortified gatehouses. Inside, the bailey provided space for barracks, stables, and workshops essential for castle life. Concentric castles took defense to the next level with multiple layers of fortification. These castles featured an inner and an outer wall, with the space in between filled with defensive structures like towers and arrow slits. This strategic layout made it incredibly difficult for attackers to breach the castle's heart. Life inside a medieval castle for the nobility was a blend of luxury and responsibility. Lords and ladies governed estates, administered justice, and hosted lavish feasts within these walls. Fine tapestries and roaring fireplaces adorned grand halls, while squires and maids scurried to maintain the opulence and order demanded by castle life. Moving through the rigid hierarchy of castle residents, from the lord down to the lowliest servant, each person had a distinct role. Knights trained for battle, while servants tended to domestic duties. Stewards managed the estate's finances, and the castellan oversaw the castle's security. Every role was crucial in maintaining the stronghold's daily life. In the web of medieval feudalism, castles stood as power hubs where lords governed the land and vassals pledged allegiance. This system was vital for maintaining order and control in tumultuous times. Castles not only fortified territories, but also solidified societal structures, with each tier having its own responsibilities and privileges. Castles were bastions of power, necessitating formidable defense. Lords employed various strategies, from high towers for surveillance to thick walls resisting siege engines. Murder holes to pour boiling substances and arrow slits for archers kept attackers at bay. Moats and drawbridges could further stymie enemy advances, ensuring the stronghold's resilience. As castles grew stronger, so did the methods to breach them. Attackers employed mighty trebuchets, which hurled boulders to shatter walls, while battering rams pounded gates with relentless force. These siege engines, alongside scaling ladders and towers, were pivotal in medieval warfare, often determining the fate of a stronghold. Now let's delve into the sagas of siege warfare. The Siege of Jerusalem in 1099, the assault on Constantinople in 1204, and the prolonged siege of Château Gaillard are etched in history. Each demonstrates the cunning, brutality, and endurance needed as defenders withstood and attackers advanced, often deciding the fates of empires. As besieging armies grew more skilled, castle builders had to innovate. They introduced thicker walls to withstand bombardment, angled bastions to deflect projectiles, and strategic positioning for defense in depth. Such adaptations were crucial in the arms race between the impenetrable fortress and the relentless siege engines of medieval warfare. Moving beyond stone and mortar, water defenses became a crucial element in fortification. Moats not only served as daunting physical barriers to deter attackers, but also as a way to manage waste and control access to the gates. Curtain walls, rising just beyond these watery trenches, provided an additional line of defense, making castles seemingly impenetrable bastions of the medieval landscape. As the Crusades swept across Europe into the Holy Land, castle design evolved once more. Crusaders encountered sophisticated Islamic fortifications, which inspired the introduction of round towers, reducing blind spots and improving defenses. European castles borrowed these elements, embodying a fusion of architectural knowledge sparked by these far-reaching conflicts. As the military function of castles began to diminish, the grandeur of courtly life took precedence. Fortified manor houses emerged, blending the strength of a castle with the elegance of a noble residence. Lavish and less austere, they were designed as much for comfort and ostentation as for defense. Now, let's journey through the storied walls of some of the world's most famous castles. From the imposing Tower of London, steeped in a rich and often ominous history, to the majestic ramparts of Edinburgh Castle, which dominate Scotland's skyline, each fortress harbors tales of kings, conquests, and crowns. As the tides of time flowed, the once impenetrable medieval castle began to lose its military significance. The advent of powerful cannonry and gunpowder changed the nature of warfare, rendering traditional fortifications less effective. Political shifts also played a part, as centralized royal authority reduced the necessity for noble strongholds. Transitioning into the post-medieval period, castles transformed from fortified strongholds to grand residences. Nobility, seeking comfort over defense, made palatial modifications, adding lavish chambers and expansive gardens. These grandiose renovations reflected the shifting priorities from war to peacetime opulence and the display of wealth and status. In the modern era, preserving the grandeur of medieval castles has become a major focus. Restoration and conservation efforts are crucial in maintaining these historic structures, often involving meticulous work to repair stonework and replace aged timber. These projects ensure that these iconic monuments of human heritage continue to inspire awe for generations to come. Medieval castles have left a lasting legacy on modern architecture, inspiring styles like Gothic Revival and Romanesque. Their formidable structures and aesthetic elements are often echoed in today's government buildings, universities, and luxury homes, blending historical allure with contemporary design to emulate the commanding presence of a bygone era. Transcending time, medieval castles continue to captivate us in films, literature, and video games. They set the scene for epic fantasy tales and historical dramas, becoming synonymous with adventure, romance, and power. Castles evoke a sense of magic and mystery, fueling our imagination and artistic endeavors across various media platforms. Today, medieval castles stand as majestic portals to the past, drawing millions of tourists annually. Their ancient walls offer a tangible history lesson, allowing visitors to walk through centuries-old corridors. These fortresses also act as outdoor classrooms, where each turret and tower provide a unique educational narrative of medieval life. Castles have transcended time to become powerful symbols in our collective consciousness. Representing nobility, conflict, and fairy tales, they captivate our imaginations in stories and legends. As we explore these stone sentinels, we're reminded of a medieval tapestry woven with tales of kings, queens, knights, and the timeless human quest for security and power. Preserving our medieval castles is vital for future generations. These majestic structures are not just relics of the past, they're enduring history lessons written in stone. By safeguarding these sites, we ensure that the stories, architectural marvels, and cultural significance of the Middle Ages continue to inspire and educate. And now, we'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share with us your favorite medieval castle, or perhaps there's one you're curious to learn more about. Your feedback is a treasured part of our community here at Spectrum Sphere. And who knows, your suggestion might just become our next video topic. As we've journeyed through the formidable world of medieval castles, we've uncovered their origins, the evolution of their architecture from wood to stone, their pivotal role in history, and the daily life within their walls. These structures were more than military strongholds. They were symbols of power and centers of medieval society. Thank you for exploring medieval fortresses with us on Spectrum Sphere. If you enjoyed this journey through European history, please show your support by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more diverse and engaging content every week. Until next time, keep discovering.